TribLIVE Radio presents Gladiators of the Cage, online at GOTCMMA.com and on Twitter at GladiatorMMA412. It's time to get all the inside info on the Pittsburgh MMA scene right now, right here, only on TribLIVE Radio.
The Fight Tuesday continues. Just got done an hour of pro wrestling talk with WWE. And now it's time for a half hour of MMA talk with Robert Joseph of Gladiators of the Cage, based here in Pittsburgh.
Scott's MIA on us.
Scott's MIA. And obviously there's no way we can start off talking here on YouTube, on TribLIVE Radio, on the TribLIVE Radio Periscope. There's no way we can not talk the hottest news in the MMA world right now, which is that of undefeated Ronda Rousey, not undefeated no more. Got
anymore.
Knocked out by Holly Holm in Australia. And even more of the dominance of that fight. And then there's so much beyond it now of TMZ just posting a video today of Ronda covering her face as she arrives back in the States. Obviously, a lot of questions about rematch, and it's a drama-filled situation.
Oh, the rematch is going to happen. There's no doubt about it. There's too much money to be made from not having a rematch.
She's got to find the schedule, and she's got a movie she's getting ready to film.
Well, that was part of the problem why she lost. She had too many extra things going on, and she obviously didn't put in the time to prepare herself for this fight. When you're on top of the mountain like Ronda Rousey was, you get complacent, you get comfortable, you get the sense of you're indestructible. And I think that's what she had. People were filling her head full of this, full of that. And she was not indestructible. This was your typical David versus Goliath, Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed, Tyson versus Buster Douglas.
See, and I disagree with that real quick because I want to bring that up because a lot of people are comparing this to Tyson when he was on that amazing run through the 80s, and in the 1990 he loses in Japan to Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas, that was an even bigger upset in my mind.
It was, and I agree with you.
Holly Holm, I think people were giving her a fighting chance to this.
Buster Douglas was 42-1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the odds were for Holly Holm.
But Holly Holm had some.
But there's been bigger upsets, and they were saying, "Oh, this is the biggest upset in sports history," which I disagree with. Yeah. What about the Miracle on Ice back in 1980?
Yeah, I don't.
Where the Americans beat the Russians in the semifinals of the 1980 Olympics. Yeah. What about Man of War, who lost to a horse called Upset back in 1919? The odds were 100-1. So it's not the biggest upset in the sports world, but it was something that.
But it's an upset with
big enough.
It's an upset with somebody who is right now on the top of pop culture.
Well, it was an upset big enough that you saw it actually blip in during everything going on with the Paris stuff. You got Paris in the media everywhere, and all of a sudden now you see.
And Charlie Sheen.
Well, he didn't come up until today.
I know.
But that's his own dumb fault.
That's a whole story.
But you know how it is that's all. You're right. That's a whole different story.
A whole other story.
So, but yeah, Ronda was on top of the mountain. She wasn't preparing, and then you got Holly, who's hungry. Yeah. And there's always somebody hungry, ready to take your spot. And she prepared for it.
We have so much more to talk about this. We're gonna stop here in a second. I'm gonna bring this last topic up on video. If you want to hear more of this, because we're gonna talk about this, people saying maybe it was a work. There's questions of is Ron done with MMA? If you want to hear the rest of that, make sure you download the audio podcast of the show via TribLIVE Radio. But one more topic, real quick, on video. Robert, you being you're more of an expert than I am. When this fight went one round, and then the first round was over. By that, and that's unusual with Rousey because she's
for her it is. Yes.
When that first round was done, did you think, okay, this is going to be it?
When I saw after that first round how exhausted she was, how tired she was, I knew at that point. And I watched it live. Okay, I watched it live, and they you can hear their corners talking to her, and they're saying to her, basically saying, all she's got's that jab. She's coming at you with the left jab. You're doing great. You're doing great. They should have given her a little bit different advice. They should say, hey, back off, get your marbles straight, grab some air, get yourself prepared. But they didn't, and she continued that try to go after, and Holly was just too much for her, and that was proven within less than a minute in the second round when she knocked her out.
Gladiators of the Cage, a great promotion based here in Pittsburgh. You can watch from anywhere in the world. You can check them out, GOTCMMA.com. They are sending many fighters off into the UFC and the Bellator world, so you definitely want to get familiar with them if you're not. And, of course, they got wonderful sponsors, TriStar, the people who produce Fireball Whiskey. Very happy to have everything on board.
We appreciate it for sure.
At TribLIVE Radio. If you want to hear more, make sure you download the podcast on TribLIVE Radio.